G'day everyone, it's Justin and
Matt.
two dads again from Australia, and we're coming to you today in a 2022 Hyundai I30 N Sedan. Okay mate, now we've had the pleasure of trying a few of Hyundai's N cars over the last couple of months, haven't we?
We have.
So I thought what we should do is try out their latest incarnation of N, I suppose, which is the I30 N Sedan, which came out, I think, December last year.
Right.
It's got the same engine, transmission, drivetrain as the I30 N hatch, but it's in sort of like a sports sedan body. Now that you've had the car for a couple of days, what do you think? Give us your impressions, mate.
Yeah, fantastic. So it feels very grown up.
Yeah?
That was my initial thoughts, and then I started sort of peeling back the layers of the car. You know, driving position, all those things we look through on the channel and investigate, and it's actually like Jekyll and Hyde. I know you mentioned that in some of the discussions we were having, but it really has quite a few layers to it. I took it to the shops, did the groceries, so much room. The boot's massive, back seat's massive, relative to the cars that I'm sort of used to at the moment. And then I started driving it, going through the modes, eco, sport, race, and it's just so dynamic in so many different ways. The car wraps around you super quickly. It doesn't even feel big, even though it's got a longer wheelbase, which I'm sure we'll get into through the technical specs. But it just does really wrap around you and feel like a really nimble car, but more grown up.
Now mate, in terms of driving impressions, I know that you mentioned a few things there, but it's got the same 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo as the I30N, so that's 206 kilowatts, 392 newton meters. Comes with either the 8-speed wet clutch, dual clutch transmission, which we've got today. No cost option is a 6-speed manual transmission as well, which is good.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, it's got the full suite of N modes and things like that. The NGS button on the steering wheel, the N Grin track maps as well. But did you know that the performance of this car is it's the fastest car in the N range at the moment? Not by much, like it's just quicker to 0 to 100, 5.3 seconds versus 5.4 for the hatch in dual clutch. And I think it's because it's a lighter car. The guys at Hyundai were mentioning that the weight of this thing's actually, even though it's bigger, is lighter than a hatch. And it's got a bit to do with what they've done to the drive shaft, wheel hub and wheel bearing. They've combined it into a new integrated drive axle.
Yep.
Okay, and what that does, it lifts about 1.7 kilo off each corner.
Right.
And as you mentioned, it's got a longer wheelbase, wider track front and rear, so it does feel rather stable, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
It does. It's deceptive because you wouldn't think of that when you first approached it. It looks bigger, and then my thoughts are it would be slightly slower, less engaging to drive, but it doesn't translate when you actually drive it. You can feel those things. It really feels nimble. It defies what you're looking at from a visual perspective. Yeah. And the engineers have done really well.
Yeah, they've run it with slightly wider tyres than the hatch, I think, and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's as well versus Pirelli's on the hatchback. Yeah. Also, too, the sedan's got a higher flow intake airbox than the hatch as well because it's a bit of a longer body. But yeah. I don't know, like I didn't feel. I mean, yeah, you're right. It still feels. It's got that sort of N performance feel about it, but it didn't shrink to me. It still feels a bit like a bigger car than the hatch. What do you think?
Oh, I can show you how that feels like now, if you like.
Go for it.
No, I'm joking. We're not on the track, but I'm pretty sure, and obviously the lap times show that this is quicker around the lap. How that feels dynamically, we'll probably won't find out. But I just think if you look at the hatch, it does look more compact than this car. That's obvious, but it just does when I'm in it, I can't really. It doesn't translate to how long the car is. So they've done a bit of magical engineering and achieved that really well. I look back and see how big the back seats are. It doesn't really resonate with me when I'm driving it. It doesn't feel that way.
Okay.
Maybe because of the way that they've done the steering and the air power delivery. It does feel nimble to me.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it feels nimble too, but I don't think it feels as sort of, I don't know, like compact as the hatchback. But,
yeah, fair call. Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Okay, mate. Family friendliness, practicality. I know we look at cars in terms of being fun and family friendly. Like you said, you've done a few of the family chores with it this week. How did you find it? Like in terms of around town parking, vision. Did you have the little bloke in the back yet or anything? Or?
No,
I
didn't. I've sort of avoided those things, but just by chance. But I did do the groceries.
Yeah.
Went to the shops, and those things really easy. Parked in a fairly tight car park. Mm-hmm. The screen is adequate in reverse mode with all the guidance.
Yep.
So I found that very easy. Even though it was a longer wheelbase, it didn't feel like that. I parked fairly close to the wall. Absolutely, all the sensors made sure that I was within a safe distance, so that was fine. Practicality wise, as I said, the boot's massive. You can fit a lot of it in there. One thing which you highlighted to me, which is a little bit surprising, the back seats don't fold down. There's no ski hatch. You can't fit anything lengthy in there.
They do fold down. They're not 60-40. It folds down. But you've got that brace in the back, which makes it a bit difficult if you wanted to put something bulky all the way through. But look, that's understandable. I mean, the brace is in there for a reason. So it's not just there for show. So
well, I guess it's performance, right?
A performance car. Yeah,
so it needs the rigidity, which you can feel, and that's part of why it feels nimble.
In terms of back seat space, you sat in the back behind your driving position. How did you find that?
Yeah, there's plenty of space. Knee room's fine, headroom's fine. Because the roofline is fairly low, as you can see from the side profile, your eye vision isn't the greatest. Mm-hmm. And I'm 6 foot tall in the morning, so it's okay. It's fine. There's plenty of space. You could fit 3 adults in the back at a sort of medium distance without any issues. So practicality in the back, no problem.
Okay, mate. In terms of value for money, this car has a list price of about $49,000. There's a sunroof version, which is an extra $2,000. I mean, this one's called the I30 N Sedan Premium. So comes with the leather sports seats and sort of what you see is what you get in the car. I reckon it's pretty good value for money at that level, isn't it? You're getting an awful lot in that. Like you got the 10.25 touchscreen and the digital dash as well. 8-speaker Bose sound system in the car, that's standard. Heated and cooling seats. Electric seat with memory for the driver, which is great. Remote start on the key fob. We discovered that this morning, didn't we? Wow.
Especially when it was 6 degrees outside, which is chilly. And if you're inside and you just want to get the heated seats going, heated steering wheel, and not have to. That's a really cool feature.
That's something like $100,000 cars get, don't it?
Exactly.
So, that's cool. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. In terms of safety as well, it's got the full suite of Hyundai SmartSense safety, as we've talked about in previous cars. That's a really good thing that they put in standard in the car. So we're talking blind spot, autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist, rear cross traffic alert, front and rear parking sensors, and rear camera, as you mentioned, as well. So that's pretty good. In terms of running costs, mate, it comes with a 5-year unlimited K warranty. I looked on the Hyundai website as well. It needs a service every year or 10,000 kilometres, which is a bit less than the normal 15,000 Ks, but I guess it's a high performance car, I guess.
Yes.
$335 per service. Well, that's okay.
For
considering
an annual service.
Yeah.
Great. Agreed.
Fuel consumption in the car, it shows a combined 8.2 litres per 100 k's. That's that's, again, considering the performance of the car, not too bad.
True. If you ran that in eco mode the whole time, I'm sure it's
A little bit
probably
better.
a bit better, but there's no way that will happen.
Yeah, because it's just an engaging car to drive, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, mate. Any positives? Any negatives? What do you think?
Look, clearly the Hyundai know their market well. They know where there are potential gaps where they want to fill with slightly different product. I didn't foresee them coming out with an N version of this car in the sedan, but I can see why they did it. If you're the type of person that might have a corporate job, want to park it in the car park and not look like a hoon, but also be able to have that enjoyable time on the weekends, or even if you want to take it on a track day, it ticks all those boxes, and I think it would hold its own in all those environments. So, credit to Hyundai for doing that, and they've executed it really well.
Any negatives?
I find the red stripes aren't for me. I mean, that's subjective, right? But
Is that because, as you said, you think it's more for a mature sort of buyer?
Yes, it sort of contradicts itself a little bit in that regard. And again, it's subjective. You mentioned that there's one colour that the stripes weren't included.
That's the red. Yeah,
red.
That's right.
Okay,
yeah.
so red on red isn't a thing. So I can't really think of anything else.
All right, mate. X Factor. I know it's the question we always ask. Is it the kind of car that you're gonna check your reflection out when you're driving past, or when you park the car, you're gonna look back? What do you think?
I guess because I've only had it for a few days, I've kept on doing that. I did it as soon as I got in the car or walked up to the car this morning. I think it would for a while, and it's interesting looking at some of those design cues, like the tail. I really like it. It's aggressive, it's angular, it's sort of a little bit 80s throwback for me, like the Subaru Vortex of the times. I don't know if anyone remembers those, they weren't that popular.
Oh, okay.
But I like it, and I like the wheel combo. I think it's a nice car to look at. X Factor wise, if I gave it a out of 10 rating, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's high.
I quite like the look of the front. The front, is smart and aggressive. I quite like the look of it. So I think it has got X Factor this thing too.
Agreed.
Okay, just want to put out a big thanks to our friends at Hyundai Australia for the loan of the I30 N Sedan this week. It's a good complement to the N range of cars, isn't it?
Absolutely,
So,
agreed.
Yeah. What I would really love to see though, and this is my personal opinion, an N version of the Tucson 5-seater SUV. That would be a really good, fun and family-friendly car.
Agreed, yeah. If you can bring that out, would love to review it and potentially buy one.
Anyway, just want to put a big thanks to everyone out there for watching and all the likes and subscriptions. And I guess we'll check you later.
See ya.